So we have a lot to discuss today. So we'll start with our today's topic, right? So as I said, like we are supposed to have this textbook discussion of tension bonding agents. So we'll have it tomorrow at the same time, 9 p.m., right? So tomorrow, more or less, we're not having anything evening. So tomorrow morning, we'll have the textbook discussion as usual, right? So today, the topic for discussion is like, I'm quite sure that it is the most favorite topic to be discussed right now. So given the context we have, so how to handle negative marking. So leave about exam pattern, we don't have much information. So don't go into speculation like how many marks you're going to have or for how many questions you're going to have this exam and what is the duration. Just leave it for now. If in case there is any update, I'll definitely let you know, right? And regarding negative marking, because more or less we're all worried about negative marking. But before that, so before I go into discussion, right? So a very good evening once again. So I started with music as usual. So it's not that there is some serious discussion that's happening now. In fact, at the end of the session, I'm quite sure you'll all answer my question. And my question is, what do you think about negative marking? So I'll start our discussion with a question. So what do you think about negative marking? Is it a boon or a bane? So how do you consider that, as a boon or a bane? As a positive or a negative? I'll ask you the same question at the end of the session and let's see how you're going to answer, right? So try answering this question first. Do you think it's a boon or a bane? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage? A very good evening. Hi, Srish, Ashina, Pritika. Yes, Regina, Bernice. Hi, Farheen, Saida. A very good morning. I'm sorry, a very good evening. I slept for half an hour, so it's like morning for me. Hi, Ishwarya. Voice is quite different. It's the same. Yes, Devna, hi. Exactly, Ashutosh. Exactly. Even I was speculating the same. I felt like when students approached me saying that yes, you will have negative marking, I felt like no, it's nothing like that for a year at least, because they should notify you at least a year before and they just can't change the pattern just few months before exam. But anyways, all the discussion is not relevant now. So let's see what we can do now, right now. Hi Jagdish, a very good evening. Hi Pradeep. Yes, Rishi, you say it's a disadvantage. Okay. Anovili, I'm sorry, Anovili. Anovili, you say you're neutral. Rishabh, disadvantage. Deepthi, you say it's a boon. Okay, good. Hi Neha, good evening. So Pritika, thumbs down. Okay. Jagadish, hi, good evening. Okay, Ashina, so no luck factor. So you feel that it's a bane. Good. And Nidhi, it's a boon. Okay, Ajaj, hi Ajaj, Sanchita. So you mean to Sanchita, it doesn't matter at all? Okay, fine. Okay, Ramesh, eliminating luck factor, good. Yes, we can't change it, so we have to either accept it and go ahead, or we have an option to go and fight. We all, I mean, all students who are applying for the exam can go approach, send some presentations, and maybe we can expect a change, but we do have that option, but I'm not sure how many of you are going to take that as an option. Neutral, Gina says neutral. Hi, Akshay. Okay, Shaveta, you say only those who work exactly or correctly will get better. Okay, no luck. Yes, right. So, as I said, I'm starting with the question: is negative marking a boon or a bane? So, we'll have the same question at the end of the session, and let's see if we have a change in perception or we're stuck with our own perception. First of all, you have this negative marking, right? So negative marking, the probability of answering a question right is 25%. And you know what? Let me just give you a context. Assume that you're all preparing hard, you're all working hard day in and out, you're giving your sincere efforts, and you're all doing smart work. So you are a serious candidate here. Let's assume you are a serious candidate, right? And on the other side of the coin, there are students like me who are not really serious candidates, who take things for granted, and who rely heavily on luck factor. Guesswork. I just guess. I'm not a good student. Okay. So in this case, you have an exam, and you and me go for an exam, and we write an exam, and out of 100 questions, assume this is all just an example. Out of 100 questions, you know only 50 questions. I know only 40 questions because I'm not that good student. And the rest 50 questions, you're not sure, and the rest 60 questions, I'm not sure. So what I'm trying to say here is, the rest 60 questions which I'm not sure, I'll just give a guesswork. And based on this probability, 25% probability, so you'll be getting approximately, if I just go randomly guess all the 60 questions, I'll be getting approximate, I've done some calculations also, I'll be getting an additional 15 or 16 marks based on my guesswork. I'm not a good student, but I know only 40 questions. You know more than me, you worked so hard. I know only 40, and based on the guesswork, I'll be getting additional 15 marks or 16 marks based on the probability. I don't know anything pertaining to those 60 questions. So my score would be around 55 or 60. That's based on luck, based on guesswork. Imagine you worked so hard, you got 50, you know 50 for sure, and your luck is not so good in that exam. You might ask me, like, even you have that same probability, right? But consider that it's a matter of luck. You don't have luck, or you have some amount of luck, you'll be scoring again around 65, 70. So what is the difference between my score and your score? And what if your luck is not good on that day? How do you eliminate that luck factor? So as Ramesh rightly pointed out, as most of you are already aware of it, but we're not realizing its importance. We feel that having negative marking hurts a person who is a serious candidate, but that's not true. You should understand that. You don't have negative marking, people like me are going to get more advantage based on my guesswork, which is totally nonsense and absurd, isn't it? I don't give myself 100%. I rely on guesswork. Do you think I deserve a seat? No. So having negative marking, in fact, it's a boon for every serious candidate. It's not me saying, it's the statistics saying, it's the logic which says all these things. It's based on the law of probability. We'll discuss all that in detail now in the next 30, 40 minutes. So having negative marking is a boon for a serious candidate, but not for students like me who do not give a serious preparation or this tough preparation, or who rely mostly on guesswork. So just try hang on to that one point initially. And also we'll see what all benefits we have with negative marking. So negative marking, in fact, it's not harming to a serious candidate, it's beneficial for the serious candidate, as the objective of introducing this negative marking is to eliminate the luck factor. Not completely, but to most extent possible. So that way, a serious candidate like you are going to have the greatest advantage. And fools or idiots like me who don't give much effort, or who don't really work hard or rely on guesswork, we are at loss. So it's an advantage for you, right? So that's the starting point which I wanted to discuss initially. And before going into the details, we have a lot many details to discuss based on a law of probability, how to make a smart guess. So even though we're eliminating guesswork here, there is something called as smart guess. So how do you go with smart guesswork so that based on the law of probability, you can make maximum benefit out of all the given options. So we're going to discuss all that in detail. And friends, remember, there is nothing to panic. If you are smart enough, you'll realize the fact that negative marking is a boon for you, right? And I have ample number of reasons to justify all that I'm saying. And the first reason I've already mentioned now. And coming to the notification which was released today, so they say NEET PG 2018, so obviously it includes medical as well as dental. So it shall be conducted like it's a computer-based program which we're all familiar with. And the most problem we all commonly have, or the ambiguity we have, is like which session to choose, and which I mean, you can say like my friend has gone to one session, he has got easy paper. I have gone through tough session, so I have this tough paper. So in spite of eliminating all those factors in psychometric analysis, you don't have everything or anything pertaining to that now. So you have only single session, single exam, and the marks which you score directly are reflected in your rank. So your marks will reflect your rank, but not in case of your psychometric analysis, which we discussed previously. Just leave it. So based on your marks, your score or your rank will be decided. And it's also mentioned that there is no equating or scaling of marks obtained by the candidate. It's as simple as that. And the scheme of marks: correct response 4, wrong response or wrong answer -1, no answer, or if you don't attempt, it's 0. That's understood, right? So we have 1/4 negative marking. So every right answer, you'll be given 4 marks, and every wrong answer, you'll be penalized with -1, right? So 0.25% negative marking, or 1/4 negative marking. So I'm sure you're all familiar with this information. Now, let's go through some of the important details and various how do you tackle this guessworking? Like, we'll try and see what is the objective behind introducing this negative marking, and also what precautions do we need to take while attempting an exam with negative marking at the end of the session. And also, most importantly, we'll see how risk takers, or the way in which we take risk, is going to decide our score. We have no risk takers, high risk takers, or we have something called as competitive risk or calculative risk. So what is all this about, and how can we apply that to make maximum benefit from this negative marking? So that's the overview of this entire session. Now, the main rationale behind introducing negative marking is to eliminate guesswork and to eliminate people like me, for example, those who rely heavily on guesswork, which we already discussed extensively. So in fact, guessing often is considered to be more harmful. It's like risky. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll score more. If you're not lucky, you'll score very less. So it's very risky. So that factor is eliminated, right? And this kind of introducing this negative marking is like penalizing for going with wrong answer, right? So it's in fact a boon to students who work hard. And you know what? The ultimate objective of introducing this negative marking is eliminate guesswork, but for this, you should have conceptual clarity, you should have good memory and good recall time as well. It means you should have good memory to remember all that you process and get or study, and you should be able to recall all that which is there in your memory at the time of exam. Even that's very important. Not just having that in your memory, but recalling it is equally important. So memory, recall, and most importantly, that's what I keep on highlighting every time possible, having that clarity of the concept is very important. And having these 3 factors or these 3 qualities will really help you do better in an exam with negative marking. As such, any exam, but negative marking, you should be even more specific, as there is no room for guesswork, right? So there are certain things to be followed, which we'll discuss at the end of the exam, at the end of this live session, right? So I'm obsessed with these exams. I'm getting exams from my mouth often. I'll just take 2-minute break. I'll just go through your comments. I've been getting a lot many comments. I'll just scan through your comment and see if there is anything to answer, and then we'll proceed with the strategies to have, or to proceed with proper strategies in order to score well in negative marking, right? I guess I'm going fine. You have any queries, or if you're unable to follow what I'm trying to say, please let me know. I'll try to repeat if at all necessary, right? Okay. Yeah, we have some 57 watching, so it's all-time high. So welcome to our live session. Everyone, those who are not commenting or those who are commenting, welcome to our live session. Okay, is there light disturbance in my voice? Am I audible? So Aishwarya, you say luck is never in your favor, so it's a good thing. Okay, right. Rupali, percentage or percentile? Not sure about that. We have to wait for the complete notification, right? Regarding the postponement of exam, no such information is given. Again, we have to rely on the official website. Okay. So maybe, but we can't speculate and we can't have unnecessary discussion over that, right? So once and for all, when you have that, date officially announced, then definitely we will have a separate discussion regarding any change in the pattern. Even there is 1% change in the pattern, we're going to have a live session, and we'll definitely clarify all the questions and doubts as we have done for the psychometric analysis and NEET pattern 2016-17. We will do the same for this also. Nothing to worry. The only thing you need to focus now is just practice as many MCQs as possible. Just practice and practice for conceptual clarity, strong memory, and for better recall the time of exam, which comes with practice. Right? Just focus on these three things. Date, okay, I know you're all concerned about the date, negative marking, that's true, because we're all humans with emotions, right? But the objective of this live session is to tell you that there is nothing to worry about these negative marking. In fact, negative marking is a boon for you, right? So now we'll proceed with the strategies as I mentioned previously. Yeah, yes. By the end of the session, we'll be able to answer all these questions. Yeah. Yes, Ishan and Farheen, right. So there are certain strategies to be followed. Like usually, if you observe everyone around us, we can categorize them into two. You have people who don't like taking risk, no risk takers, or those people who take heavy risk or high risk. They are very risky, like they take risky decisions and all. But there are also third category students, like or third category people where they take calculated risk. So we have these three risks: no risk, high risk, and calculated risk. So now, which strategy should be implemented? No risk, high risk, or calculated risk? So obviously, when you go for no risk, it means out of 100, if you know 50 questions, for sure you'll answer them, fine. But what about the rest 50 questions? If you take no risk and if you don't want to answer them, then you're going to lose heavily. You're not going to get many marks. You're going to lose a lot. We have a calculation for that also, which we'll discuss later. But if you're a high risk taker and if you feel like you should go ahead and answer all the 50 questions which you don't know, again, there is a chance that you might lose and you might go into negative. You'll be cutting off your positive marks which you got with a lot of hard work. So even that's risky. But you have something called as calculated risk, which we're going to discuss now in detail. So let's assume you have an exam out of 100 questions and you know only 60 questions. You know 60 questions for sure. So you have answered all 60 questions in the first round, so you're confident. Now, what about 40 questions which are remaining? So no risk, high risk, or calculated risk. So we're talking about calculated risk. So how to take this calculated risk? So assume that out of 40 questions, you're quite sure that 10 questions you don't have any idea. Just leave out the 10 questions out of 40 unanswered questions. Now we have 30 questions remaining. And see the calculating part. Out of 30 questions, if you just make smart guess, we'll discuss how to make a smart guess later, okay? Out of 30 questions, so 100 questions, you know 60, you don't know 40. Out of 40, you just left 10 as you don't have any idea at all, you have only 30. Out of 30, if you answer all of them based on smart guesswork, then if 20 are right and 10 are wrong, then you'll be getting plus 70. Assuming that for right answer you have 4 marks and wrong answer you have 1 mark, out of 30, if you score 20 well, or if you score 20 right, then you'll be getting 80. And assume that you have scored 10 wrong, you'll be losing 10. So the overall gain is 70. Just don't bother about these calculations. Just listen to the summary. So out of 30, if 20 are right and 10 are wrong, you'll be gaining 70. You're still gaining 70 plus. And out of 30, assume that you're not so lucky. You have only 10 questions right and 20 questions wrong. Even in that case, you'll be having plus 20. Plus 20. But if you're a high risk taker, you have no idea of all the questions and you keep on answering them, in that case, you have, for example, only 5 questions right and 25 questions wrong out of 30, then you will be pulled back to -5. So in fact, you're being penalized very minimal. Even though if you make a mistake, you're not being heavily penalized. You should understand that fact. So smart guesswork is what is necessary here. Smart guesswork, how do you make that smart guesswork? Assume that you have one question with 4 options. If you can rule out, just listen to this carefully. If you can rule out two options among the given four. So for example, A, B, C, D, you have ruled out option A and option D. They're not the answers. But in B and C, which is the right answer, it means you have a probability of 50% chance of scoring the right answer. If you can eliminate two options, so 50-50 chance. But if you're able to eliminate only one option among the four, it means you have a probability of only 33% because you eliminate one, so you have three options, 300, you have 33, 33, and 33. So if you can eliminate two options in equation, 50-50% chance, so it's better to go ahead, answer that question to gain benefit or to gain 4 marks. But if you can eliminate only one option out of 4, and 3 options are remaining, so you have only 33% chance of scoring the right answer. So you should take a decision accordingly. Based on your overall performance, you'll have an idea whether you can take that risk or not. So that's subjective again, right? So this is one smart move, one smart guess. And the other thing is, you have something called as law of probability, which clearly states that, so let me just read out the statement. Yeah, in most of the situations, according to law of probability, if you can eliminate 2 out of 4 options, there is a 69% chance that you might be right based on law of probability, right? So this is what I was talking about, smart guesswork. If you can eliminate 2 options, then you are at a good chance of scoring right answer. If you are able to eliminate only one option, then your chances of getting right answer is very minimal. It's only 33%, right? So based on that, you have to decide accordingly, right? And as we have been discussing the strategies, no risk, high risk, and calculated risk. So the objective here is, if you can take calculated risk, then you are at a good chance of scoring high and making maximum benefit from the negative marking, or minimizing the negative score to the minimum extent possible. I mean, to the maximum extent possible. So make sure that you have this calculated risk. As I said, out of 100, if you have scored 60, you haven't scored 40 for sure. Out of 40, eliminate those which you have no idea, and those questions which you feel like you can eliminate 2 options, go for them. If you feel like you're able to eliminate only one option, better leave them out, leave them unanswered, right? And at the end, we'll have this summary, and we'll try to go through all the things which we need to follow when attempting a question with negative marking, right? So that's pertaining to strategies which I wanted to present now. And so once we're done with this, we just go through, yeah. Yeah, as I said, if you eliminate 2 answers, I mean, it will give you a 50% chance. If you eliminate one choice, it will give you a 33% chance of scoring the right answer. Now, as we have been discussing, the best way to overcome all this is to have conceptual clarity, which comes with practice. And most importantly, what are the things which you need to keep in mind while answering a question paper with negative marking? The first and foremost thing is practice. So practicing as many MCQs as possible to have that conceptual clarity, and read the question carefully. Once you read the question, you feel like you know the answer and you can't directly jump into the option now. That's applicable for any kind of exam, but especially with the one with negative marking, don't jump into the answer directly. Read all the options, not once but twice. And there is no room for blind guesswork. So don't guess blindly. That's what we tend to do when you have no idea, when you have no negative marking, but that is completely eliminated. And have the confidence that you can solve the question first. This is very, very important. I would like to stress upon it very much. Once you're confident that you can do well, it's going to have a greater benefit, or it's going to do greater benefit to you and your result. So having that confidence is very, very important. And again, this is all interlinked. Confidence comes with practice. Confidence comes with your memory. Confidence comes with your ability to recall, and confidence comes with your clarity in the concept, right? So confidence is very important. And at the time of exam, or when you're practicing questions, be calm and cool, maintain your composure, right? So don't feel panicky. You know what? Negative marking, the thought itself will create panic. Not as such, negative marking will damage or will slighten your chances of scoring high. Negative marking as such will not really cause any problems, but the thought process itself will cause a lot of damage. It's like self-inflicting injury. The thought of negative marking itself will create a lot of problem rather than negative marking itself. I hope you got what I'm trying to say. So be confident, be cool. I know it's impossible. I know it's impossible, but nothing else again is impossible, right? So it all comes with practice. It all comes with practice, right? And as one of you were rightly discussing, practice AIMS exam papers and also give AIMS exam this coming month. So you have one third negative marking, which is comparatively tough. You're being penalized more, one third, right? So that also will definitely help you and improve your speed, because time constraints can be there. You have this time bound exam frame, so you need to be working fast, and you should practice solving MCQs with speed as well. Because just imagine at the end of exam, you have only 10 minutes left and you have some 40 to 50 questions to be answered. If there is no negative marking, okay, you can just take the benefit of risk and proceed. But since you have negative marking, you can't just go on answering all questions in limited time, right? So practice questions with speed, which is again very, very important. Speed and accuracy, right? And read all the options before jumping into conclusion, as I mentioned before. And try to solve questions, the left out questions, based on this law of probability and based on these risk factors. Like, try solving the question paper in 2 or 3 phases, as we have discussed previously way back a couple of months ago. In the first phase, try solving all the questions which you are 100% sure that yes, this is the right answer. This is the right answer. So you'll have that confidence. So for example, I can say a specific gravity of an animal 2.5, something like that. So you are quite sure, 100% sure that that is the right answer. So such questions have to be answered in the first phase. That's it. First phase. Second phase, try answering questions in this format based on this probability. I mean, those questions which you are not at all aware, leave them to the last, third phase. But second phase, like where you can use your memory, recall, or you use your IQ, own IQ to just get the concepts right, then maybe you can eliminate some options, maybe 2 options or maybe 1 option based on that, make a calculated risk, and then go for smart guesswork, right? And do not stick to a particular question. If you come across like out of 100 questions, you are at 12th question, 12th question is damn tough, then you just can't stop there itself, right? So you need to move on. You have to solve exam papers in 3 phases, 3 or 4 phases, a minimum of 2 phases. That's what I would suggest. I mean, my personal favorite is 3 phases. One, bang it. You just know the right answer. The first phase should cover all such questions. Second phase, based on probability and based on once you start thinking, maybe you'll get the answers, right? And third phase, the most difficult questions, and it's better to answer unanswer, not to answer questions which you're not at all aware of, right? So these are some of the important points which I wanted to discuss. And remember, according to law of probability, in most of the situations, if you can eliminate 2 out of 4, law of probability says that you have a 69% chance of your answer being correct, right? So also we have discussed in detail about calculated risk. I hope you got my point there. So being penalized minimal. So make sure that you have this smart guesswork and make maximum use of or maximum benefit from this negative marking pattern, right? So I'll just take 2 minutes, and again I'll summarize all that we have discussed so far for 5 minutes, and then we'll break up, right? So we have a morning session tomorrow at 5 a.m. So we shall not miss that, right? Yes. Yes, Jasmine, it was said that due to native marking being introduced. Okay, we already discussed that. For him, you say, sir, audible but breaking. It's streaming fine for me, but here. Right. Okay, Bernice. Yeah, you can go through the recorded version also, right? Purvil, you mean to say, what is the source of this information then? I didn't get you. Source of information. I mean, which information are you talking about? You mean to say that NBE notice, it's there in natboard.edu. You can just Google out. We have already shared that in our WhatsApp update group, the link of the website, right? So it's official. Sir, it's clear or not that exam conducted by NBS? NB, of course, conducts these exams, right? National Board for Examinations for him. So Ishan, I hope I have answered your query. So you say what percentage of questions should we attempt with negative marking? So I hope I have answered your query. Yeah. Yo, Preeti, you say you're so excited to have 63 members live. Okay, so this is the first time we have more number of students live. So it's a record. It's a personal record for our channel. And thank you for making it possible. Okay, Aishwarya, what about questions where we finish to take a calculated risk and it's 50-50 and we can't seem to remember but two options? Then should we go for it? That's a good question, Aishwarya. You mean to say you take the calculated risk, you feel like you have eliminated two options, and among the given two options, which one to choose when you feel like both are equally right, then leave it. If you feel like both options have equal chance of being a right answer, then leave it. That's what I would do personally, rather than, and also whether to leave it or to answer it depends upon your overall performance. If you feel like you have answered majority of the questions fine, then maybe you can leave it. But if you feel like you haven't answered overall good, so you can take that risk. You can take that risk and go for an appropriate option. So it all depends. It has to be customized. It all depends on your overall performance, which you will know by the way in which you have written the exam so far, and also based on the probability you can take the risk. It depends. Hi, David. Thank you so much for your compliment. Yes, I am doing great job. Yes, I am doing it because I have great people supporting me. Without your support, this is not possible, right? So this is mutual and this is possible. And you know what? You're seeing only me in front of your screen. That's only one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is those people who are behind the screen. That's you. So it's possible because of your support and motivation and your love, and without which this would have been unimaginable. So I should in fact say it's not my job which is great, it's our job. We have done it great and we are making it great day by day. In maximum, how many questions we can take a risk? It's really difficult to answer this question. How many questions we take the risk? It depends. Actually, it depends on the previous exam marks and like how the top rank was, and based on that we can have some idea. For example, out of 100, 80, you get 80 or 85, you'll be in top 10, top 15. Then you'll have some idea like based on number of questions you have scored in the first phase, then you can estimate like how many questions you take the risk. So to be more specific, Pritika, to your question, assume that, as I say, you know, you have 100 questions, you have answered 50 questions, rest 50 questions you're not sure. Try answering those questions which you have some idea. Those questions which are not at all aware, as I said, as I mentioned previously, for example, out of 50 unanswered questions, you have no idea, you haven't heard of 20 questions, then don't answer those 20 questions. So in that case, you'll be answering or you'll be taking calculated risk in 30 questions only. So it depends. It depends on how many questions you don't know absolutely. So it is customized, right? It is individualized or customized, or it depends on your perception of the question paper. I hope I've answered a query, Aishwarya and Kritika. You want still more clarity? I'll try giving that again. Hi, Sirisha. Very good evening. Yes, Farheen, it's impossible to be cool, but you don't have an option. Okay, let's assume that you feel tensed up. Your cortisol is being released, your adrenaline is being released, you're in a fight or flight response. Is that going to do good for you and your result? If you say yes, then I'll keep quiet. Of course, that's not going to do any good for you. In fact, that's more harmful. Your logic, rational, you know what, when you're tensed up, that is science talking about. When you're tensed up, when you have this cortisol being released, then your logical reasoning is completely shut. Logic doesn't work. right? So there is no point. You have this cloudy feeling whenever you are tensed up. You'll have that cloudy feeling, and you'll never answer it well. Remember that. So you don't have any option, right? You feel like, yes, that's a natural response. Obviously, in exam you feel tensed up, it's a natural response. But if you can master it, if you can overcome it by your confidence and by staying cool, then definitely you're going to have an edge over others. I've practiced it personally. Let me be frank. I'm not saying I'm great. Many people have done it. My batchmates have done it. My juniors are doing it now. So it's not impossible. It's tough, but not impossible. It's achievable. So maintaining cool is very important, because if you're tensed up and if you are really excited or if you're worried, that's not going to do any good, isn't it? So you have no other option except for staying cool and calm, right? Hi Amish, a very good evening. Yes, Neha. Niharika, hi. Hi Niharika, very good evening. Bernice, which old questions you're talking about? I didn't get your question. You're talking about the final exam or our test series? Yeah, in a computer-based platform, you can obviously go for the previous questions also. You'll always have the template, and you'll have that option to move back and forth. You will have that option, Bernice. Exactly, Nidhi. Yeah, we have to take risk only with those questions where you feel like you have doubt between two options. That's a smart way of going. That's a smart guess. So blind guess is completely eliminated, but you can have this smart guess, calculated risk, smart guess. Yes, of course you can change the answer. When it's a computer based, in fact, the manual one you can't change the answer, but computer based you will have that option till you submit your exam. I'm talking about the final exam, by the way. Purvil, I'm really sorry. I've seen your comment negative marking, but I forgot what your previous comment is. If possible, try framing your entire question in a single sentence, right? I'm sorry. Saida, don't worry. You can go through the recorded version, right? It's going to be 50 to 55 minutes maximum. You're welcome, Shreyash. Exactly, Ajaj. So what I'm trying to say, Ajaj has already given the answer. You can change the answer at any time. That's the beauty of the computer exam, right, Ajaj? Yes, yes, Abhishek, you can. Hail me. I'm going to block you for your stupid comments, right? Guys, I'm really sorry. We have some idiot posting some stupid comments. So I blocked him. So don't worry, right? Yeah, we'll not get distracted by all such stupid things. There are people, there are negative elements always, but we, as far as we know what we are doing, as far as we know what we are up to, there is nothing to feel really worried about, right? Yes, number of MCQs, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure because I can't speculate. Previously, it was 200 questions. NEET first pattern when it was introduced 2013, it was 200 questions with again the same format, like 1/4 negative marking. But this time, I have to wait and see. Saida, if none of them are the answers, if you have no idea like which one is the answer among the four options, just leave the question unanswered. Alankrita, it seems like your message has been recommended. Okay, right. Retracted, sorry. Right. So Google, thank you Google for helping me out. So Google moderated team has eliminated and blocked the account of Hail Me. Right. Yeah, Pooja, you're most welcome. In fact, I'm really sorry for canceling today's textbook discussion because I wanted to have this discussion because most of you will definitely feel apprehensive. So that's the objective here, to remove that apprehension comprehension, right? So don't worry. And by the way, I'm going to ask the same question at the end of the session. Just hold on for 5 to 10 minutes. I'll just complete off these questions real fast. Kalpana, hope you at least have some clarity now, like why you shouldn't panic for negative marking, right? Hi Alankrita, good online test series. You can take up PTBD Academy's online test series, right? Since I've asked, I'm telling you, I'm not here to promote something like that. You can just mail us at proudtobedentist@gmail.com. We'll send you the details of our test series. Hi Priya, a very good evening. Yes, Salman, 3 phases is awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Aishwarya, Farheen, Rupali. Yeah, yes, Purvel. Yeah, nbe.edu, there is no update, but you have, I mean, can one of you please post the link to Purvel? We have this natboard.edu. I mean, Abhishek, one of you just posted in our WhatsApp update group also, right? Can you just post that link so that Purvel will go through it? Right. Yeah, thanks, Abhishek. Thank you for reporting. Yes, thank you, Stuti, Jalla. Jagadish, good question. NEET PG is like a comprehensive. It includes an MDS, I mean MS, all these things. So NEET PG is a general word which they have used. So I'm quite sure that the same will be applied for NEET MDS as well. Anyways, we'll just wait for the update in our NBE MDS website. Yes, for him. That's what I said. 200 or 240. Yeah, it was 200 previously, so we can maybe expect the same, but I'm not really sure. Devna, who is this hail me? He wants to be hailed and he was stoned, right? Yes, your dentist, after watching your video, you say thinking about preparation again. Glad to hear that. And so happy that I inspired you to start your preparation again. We all inspired you. We all inspired your presence. So we have this lively, bubbling aspirants, live audience who are the source of energy. And one of you were saying like, I am the best in this live session, but it's not me. I'm only in front of screen, but what's behind the screen is really making this difference. Just imagine me talking to myself in front of screen. Does it make any difference? But the presence of all of you is going to make real difference, and that's why they say you have this unity, you have this collaboration, you have this teamwork that works right on target, and this is the best case study we can ever have. Yes, Aishwarya, thank you for reporting here. Yes, Preeti, you're most welcome. For a good performance, how many questions should be attempted? Neetu, that's a relative answer. I just can't give you an absolute figure. So as I said, depends on how many questions you have already attempted and how many questions you're not really sure about. So it's all relative. Maybe I can answer that question once this format is being run, or once 2 or 3 times or 3 years this exam is being conducted in similar fashion. Maybe then we can just speculate. Right. Anyways, it depends upon that year's exam toughness levels and all many other factors. Also, most important is subjective perception, like how you feel the paper is. Even that's going to decide, right? Yeah, Stuti, proud to be dentist at gmail.com. I'll just type it here. Proud to be dentist at gmail.com. Okay, again, just drop your queries or any questions in that mail. I'll try answering them within 24 hours, right? Mayur, you're most welcome. Purvel, you're welcome again. Yes, Niharika, you're welcome. Ankita, not sure. I'll let you know. Definitely, I'll let you know once the info is out. Yeah, we have written NEET 2013. There was negative marking, but the exam was cancelled. So we again had these state entrances at that time, 2013. Yes, Pradeep, that's what I'm trying to say. It is subjective. It depends upon the complexity of the question paper or toughness levels, and also depends upon how many right questions you have answered in the first, in the first format or in the first phase. Yes, Devna, don't worry. You can go through the recorded video also, right? So, okay, I've answered most of your questions, I guess. So I'll just summarize for 5 minutes and then we'll break. We have a live session tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., right? So to summarize, okay, just give me 1 minute break, okay? My back is hurting. It started hurting. Right. Yeah, thank you for waiting. So we have been discussing today regarding this negative marking and the pattern, right? So Sirisha, then you should go for AIMS, right? So as there has been news today regarding this native marking, so NEET PG 2018, it's a computer-based platform, exam, single day, single session, and the question paper is going to be the same for every one of you. And the scheme of marks awarded: correct response +4, wrong response -1, and no response or you haven't attempted that question, 0 marks, right? And also we discussed about the rationale behind introducing this negative marking. So based on the examples I've given, I'm a bad student, you're a good student. So bad students have a minimal chance of relying on guesswork or scoring good. So the objective of this negative marking is to eliminate the guesswork and to give a better chance to those who are seriously preparing or serious candidates. So a serious candidate is going to have the greatest benefit with negative marking. In fact, if you think it's a bane for you, it's not a bane, it's a boon for all of you, right? And as I said, it's going to help a person who has really worked hard. And also I discussed about few strategies like no risk, high risk, and calculated risk. So no risk, if you feel like why should I take risk, let me just leave out questions, then you are losing lot many positive marks. So it's not advisable. So if you don't know out of 100, you have no idea 50 questions, then don't leave them. On the other hand, if you think like I can take the risk and answer all the questions, then you'll be losing marks. You'll be losing many positive marks in the process again. If your answers are wrong, your positive marks will be reduced and even you can go into NEET marking if your luck is very, very bad. That doesn't happen often. And we have something called as calculated risk, which we are discussed now. So I'll just briefly summarize this. Out of 100 questions, you have answered 60 questions. You have no idea what 40 questions are. Among 40 questions, again, in second phase, you can try answering 25 to 30 questions. And you might be not familiar with 10 or 15 questions. You have no idea 10 or 50 questions. You can just leave them unanswered. Rest 30 or 25 questions, which you can take calculated risk in the sense, if you can eliminate two options in the given four options, then there is a 69% chance that you're going to be right according to law of probability. So you can take the risk. But if you know, or if you can rule out only one option, you have confusion between three options, then you have only 33% chance, don't go for it. Better to leave it, right? And you have something called as calculated risk. So this is how you can proceed forward. And guesswork, we say smart guesswork. So smart guesswork, as we discussed about this probability, you can rule out two options, then go ahead answering it. If you can rule out only one option, better don't take the risk. But if you have, let's assume you have 100 questions, you have answered 90 questions well, excellent. You know that 90 questions are right for sure. Among the given 10 questions, you can take a calculated risk, even though if you can rule out only one option. So this depends upon your overall performance. That's my intention here. So you answered 90 questions well, absolutely fine. Out of 10 questions, 5 questions you are not at all aware, or 6 questions you are not at all aware. Just leave those 6 questions. And among 4 questions, you can take the risk, even though if you can rule out only one option. So 33% risk, you can take it. So it depends on your overall performance and it depends upon your perception towards that question. And all this you can master with practice. So you'll have much more idea as long as you're practicing more and more number of MCQs, right? You can speculate. And the ultimate objective here is to have conceptual clarity, better memory, and better recall. So these three qualities are going to have a positive impact on you, irrespective of the pattern of exam. Negative marking, 1/3, 1/4, half negative, it doesn't matter at all as long as you have that clarity, memory, and recall. Right? So that's about smart guesswork and calculated risk, which you have to really consider while going for this exam. And also, there are few steps which you need to follow, or few, I would say, on caution. You can just go through these points and make sure that you are applying them when you're giving your exam. Like I can say, uh, like how, like we can say, like candidates, like while attempting paper, should have the following points in mind. The first one, read the question completely. Don't jump into conclusion or answers. Go read all the options and try solving the question paper in 2 or 3 phases. First phase, all questions which you are quite sure. Second phase, those based on this calculated risk and guesswork you can go. And third phase, blind guesswork. If you feel like, okay, you can take the risk, go ahead, or else no scope for blind guesswork, right? Try to avoid guessing blindly as much as possible, right? And you have to have that confidence. Ultimately, it all depends on your confidence. And as Farheen and few of you are saying, it's right. That's absolutely true that you cannot maintain your nerve. It's really tough to maintain your nerve at the time of exam. You feel tensed up. You have this cortisol being pumped up into your system. Your sympathetic system is being activated, and you feel like frightened, or you want to fly. You want to just run away from there, but you can't. So you have this stress within you which clouds your thinking. This is very important. So stress clouds your thinking. Your rational, logical thinking is completely shut. You can't make a rational, scientific, logical decisions, and all your laws of probability, calculated risk, everything will be lost, right? So don't feel stress, and that happens when you have confidence and when you feel like, yes, let me just stay cool, let me just give my level best. What I can do is by giving my best thing, and there is no point in feeling tensed up or feeling stressed, because feeling stressed is not going to do any good for you, right? So it's not a wise option or smart option to choose. You have the option to choose on being cool and holding your nerve and having that confidence. All this comes with confidence, and confidence again depends upon the practice which you do. The practice which you do, the orientation which you have, and the persons with which you interact. You should have this positive atmosphere. Only then these things are really positive. If everyone says this is tough, obviously it appears tough, even though it's not. That's what I said. Negative marking as such doesn't cause any harm, but the thought of negative marking will actually cause the harm, frankly speaking. As I said, negative marking will be helpful for all serious candidates, right? And whenever you come across any tough question, don't stop there. This a general principle which we say for each or any type of pattern of exam, right? So these are the things which I wanted to discuss. I hope I made myself clear. And at least if one of you have lost apprehension for negative marking, then I feel the purpose of conducting this live session is fulfilled. At least one of you, if you say like, sir, yes, we are doing good, we can tackle this, then that serves the purpose of this live session. And my question again, do you think that negative marking is a boon or bane now? Yes, Sanchita, definitely we'll have more videos on 18 points. Yes, Sirisha, we can incorporate in our test series. We have that software. So far we haven't been applying this negative marking. Definitely we'll make some changes. Just give us 3 to 4 days time. We'll see what we can in order to incorporate negative marking. Okay, your dentist. Okay, right. There's no negative marking in our state entrance. Hey, Toffee. Toffee. So this guy has no negative marking at all. He has only positive markings. Only play, 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 only positivity. No negativity for him. Bisutak, you say it's good to follow a single series for every question for which you're not sure about. That's not advised at all, Bisu. That's not a smart thing to do. Based on literature I reviewed, based on the native marking pattern, based on my personal experience, I can tell you. If you say like I have no idea on the questions, like you don't have any idea regarding 10 questions, you just can't mark B, 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 the same option for all. That's not a smart guess, at least, right? So please make sure that you don't follow that pattern, Bisu. Maybe when you don't have negative marking, it definitely helps because you have this 25% probability, right? But with negative marking, you just can't take that risk. Yes, Abhishek, glad to hear that. Yes, Komal, yes, we have negative marking, but we haven't incorporated that in this year's pattern, but definitely we can make that modification. We can have negative marking in our exam. Yes, we do have that software. Farhin, you say I'm a bit confused about that mean in first phase we go through 200 questions or fill it. No. First phase, I mean, initially when you go through the question paper first time, you answer all the questions which you are 100% sure. First phase, answer only those questions which you are 100% sure or confident about. Second phase, you can have this probability, smart guess, or calculated risk. Sirisha, you say no, Komal. Yeah, yes, we haven't incorporated negative marking this year because the previous year pattern was like there was no negative marking, right? But we can incorporate negative marking in our test series. At least, definitely from next week onwards, we'll try incorporating that. Yes. Ankita, please drop a mail regarding the total number of government seats in MDS. We already had this discussion previously. I'll send you some statistics which I have, right? Ankita, just drop a mail at proudtobedentist@gmail.com. Yes, Bernice, conceptual clarity, better memory, and better recall, right? Yes, Anovali, so you say it's a boon. Yes, Neetu, our hard work plus your positive guidelines will give best result, obviously. Yes, Prashanti, glad to know that it's much better now. Yes, Deepthi, thank you for your answer. Yes, Komal. Yes, Ashitosh, Farheen, Preeti. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for making this discussion more fruitful. Yeah, it all depends upon the final NEET prospectus, as Nidhi said. So based on that, we will be knowing the number of seats, number of questions, and subject-wise marks distribution. Yes, Ashina, definitely. We will apply negative marking. Don't worry, right? All those who are registered for our test series, we will definitely have negative marking as soon as possible. We'll have one mail regarding that update, right? Don't worry. Yes, Purhil. Yes, Neha. Good. Yes, Satya, I've seen your comment. Yes, negative marking is in fact a boon. And thank you so much for your belief in my guidance. Yes, Jagadish. Good. Yes, Bernice, it's definitely boon to those who are seriously studying and going through concept rather than mugging up. Yeah, this guy came at the right time. You know what? I just lock myself in this room and I just keep on talking. He hears my voice. He just can't wait outside. He just scratches the door, pushes the door, and he just comes right back as if I've been doing something secret. Hmm? Yeah. Yeah, so many spams, don't mind, okay, don't mind. And Google moderated team has eliminated that in Cardo007, don't mind. You know what? When you have stones thrown upon you, like they say, we have this quote: when you have a tree with fruits, only then we throw stones. It means we are a tree with fruits, we are delivering fruitful results. So that's the reason why we have all these stones, which we are way beyond all this nonsense, right? We are way beyond all this. We are way beyond. It's not like when someone says something, hey, why did you say that? Oh, I'm really worried. Why did you tell me that? So it's all nonsense. Yeah, thanks for reporting. Thank you for reporting the those stupid, idiotic, nonsensical comments. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Toffee is she. She is Toffee. S-H-E, she. Yeah, how to handle negative marking may be based on title. It feels like it's a space for negative people, but unfortunately, it's a space for positive people. And you know what? I've been to TEDx program, and I've already told previously. Let me just take this opportunity. It's wrong being optimistic. We should never be optimistic. We should be dangerously optimistic. Devo, do. So those who are doers, those who really do things, they have to be dangerously optimistic in order to get things done, right? So this is a space for optimism and positivity, and nothing negative is going to affect us, and we are way beyond all such silly, idiotic, mediocre things, right? Yeah. Yes, Prithvi, secret superstar. I'm not secret superstar. Right. Yes. Yes, Pritika, you need not hope for that. It is boon, right? You have that conference, it's boon. It's definitely boon for all those aspirants, all the serious candidates, right? All the serious candidates. Exactly. Give your best. And Nidhi, a good teacher and good guidance only can make a human successful. Best example is in front of us. Yeah, thanks, Nidhi. Thanks for your lovely wish and your positive comment. Yes, Sirisha, we'll definitely have one more live session once a new prospectus or format is released, right? So once a new format is released, this guy is so terribly strong. Toffee, come on. Just look at them and say hi. So definitely we'll have one live session regarding the exam pattern if at all there are any changes, right? So definitely, whether you have changes or not, just for clarification sake, we'll definitely have one live session once the prospectus is out. Salman, glad to hear that. Yes, it's very good to hear all these things. So that's the objective of this live session, right? So negative marking, negative marking, negative marking, it's only positive. It's only positive. Of course, he's enjoying the live session. So it's only positive. So you have to be more relaxed now and just focus on your preparation, right? Don't worry. Don't assume that maybe I'm not working hard. Don't have that suspicion, right? So no matter how much effort you're putting effort for only 1 hour, only 2 hours, only three. It doesn't matter as long as you're putting effort sincerely. That's what is more important rather than the quantity. It's the quality which is more important. Right? Don't worry thinking that maybe I didn't work hard, so it's a disadvantage for me. No, no, no. Even if you work hard for 1 hour, even if you work hard for 2 hours, that's enough. But the quality, the heart with which you work, they'll say, right? So you have that sincerity in you, you're definitely going to do good. And negative marking is positive marking. Now I should start saying that we have positive marking. So it's not negative marking anymore. We have positive marking, right? Right, it's been 11 a.m. and we have to be at 5 a.m. So, guys, you want me at 5 or yeah, we'll not delay it further, right? So, we'll see you all at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning with more energy and excitement. Tomorrow, we'll have this direct filling gold as usual, as per the schedule. Tomorrow night, we'll have this dentin bonding agents, right? So, dentin bonding agents is very simple, and the newer edition is just awesome. It's been more simplified. The previous edition was a bit complex to understand, but the new edition is simply super, right? We'll just go through it also in tomorrow's discussion and see you all tomorrow morning at 5:15 a.m., right? Yeah, glad to hear that, Ramesh. That's the best comment I ever got. Thank you so much, everyone, for your love and affection. Yes, Regina, you're most welcome. Right. Tomorrow's topic I'll definitely share. I have the old edition. Nidhi or someone who has new edition, can you please share direct filling goal? Even that will be useful for me, right? So in our WhatsApp update group, okay? Right. Yes, Jagdish, you're welcome. And you know, he is, or I'm sorry, she is a secret behind my success. Success in the sense, I'm happy because of this guy. Right. Okay then. We'll break. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. It's being late already. Right. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Right. It's not there in the schedule, but anyways, I'll update you via WhatsApp update group and also through mail. Okay, Nidhi, you shared the complete book. Okay. Okay. See that if you can share the pages of that topic, direct filling gold. Yes, Tuti, you can just drop a mail at proudtobedentist@gmail.com. We'll send you the group link, right? So it was nice interacting with all of you. Good night, take care, and see you all tomorrow at 5 a.m., right? Yeah, love you all, bye.